Hello, this is part 8 of my trying to figure out who this beast guy is videos. So, before I kind of get into today's topic, I need to do a little housekeeping because I'm noticing that I'm getting comments on these videos. I just want to say that I'm really sorry, but I don't engage with comments on YouTube. It's no offense to anybody. It's just I don't have time to engage in arguments with people I don't know. Okay, so if you're a friend or a family member, definitely if you're watching this and you have a question, reach out to me and we can discuss it. But what I find is, especially talking about things like prophecy, people just want to argue because nobody really knows for sure. But, some pastor, some prophet that you've heard said something and you really liked them, and so you feel like you need to defend them, and so in so doing you'll just like fight with people that say things contrary to what you've understood. And that's not my point for this. Okay, first of all, I really don't think that any prophets or preachers should be drawing conclusive conclusions about prophecy, because as I've said before, that's where you run into problems. The best thing we can do about prophecy is to look at all the details that we possibly can and then start pattern recognition with current events. Is like, hey, the beast is like this and this thing over here is like this. Could those things be connected? That's what I'm trying to do, is just say, could these things be connected? Another thing is, if it's a hard and fast truth, then yeah, I'm going to fight you on it. Okay, so for instance, if you start to tell me that Jesus is a fraud, I'm going to fight you on that because no, he's not. But if you want to fight me on Trump being the lion, I'm not going to fight you on that because I'm not married to that enough to fight you on it. I'm going to give you evidence that I come across in these videos to show you where I'm coming from, but I'm not going to, it's not so much of a conviction that I have that I feel like I need to fight people in commentary on YouTube. Now, I know this is probably confusing because there are times in these videos where I say, what do you think? And I know other YouTubers will say, what do you think? Because they want you to comment below. I'm asking that question rhetorically. I'm not asking you to tell me what you think, because I'm not your authority, okay? I'm not the authority on this subject anyway. I'm saying, what do you think, rhetorically, for you to answer that question for yourself. So I'm sorry if that misled you. That's where I was coming from. But again, and one other thing about this is, if you ask a question that's compelling enough, then here's my promise to you. If you ask me a question that's compelling enough, what I will do is I will address that question in the next video, because it's going to be a lot easier for me to flesh out my point of view in a video where I can show you what I think versus just typing words that could be easily misconstrued. Okay, so go ahead and ask. If it's compelling enough, then I will answer it in my video, but I'm not going to engage in the comments below. So true to that, let me address something that I did find compelling in the comments. I think I have someone commenting from South Korea because the name is written in Korean. I lived in Korea for 3 years. That's the only reason I know that. But the compelling thought was, this person was saying that they believed that the beast is Korea because Korea has had 10 president, prime ministers, and like 3 of them died. And I'm going to say, whoever you are, I disagree with that assessment. The reason I disagree with it is because I feel like you're just cherry picking one detail about the beast, which is the 10 horns and 3 of them fall. There's so many more details about the beast that Korea doesn't align with. For instance, Korea is not a global entity, but the beast is going to be an earth-wide. He's going to have dominion over the entire earth, not just a part of Asia. Okay, so it could be that Korea one day is given dominion over the whole earth, in which case maybe Korea is the beast. But as far as what I see, I don't agree with that assessment. There's also another very popular assessment that the Pope is the beast. And I don't adhere to that belief for the same reason I don't believe that Korea is the beast. I don't believe the Pope is the beast. That doesn't mean that he isn't evil. I mean, I think there is evidence to show that the current Pope is a Luciferian. Even if you don't believe that, he's definitely come out and said statements that fly in the face of Scripture. But the reason you can be evil without being the beast, okay? But the reason I don't think the Pope is the beast is for two reasons. Number one, he's kind of a figurehead. If you look into anything about the Jesuit order, there are other popes. There's like the gray pope and the black pope, and you don't ever hear about them. But from what I understand, they have a lot more control than the current pope, which they call the white pope. So he's not even the one really calling the shots. Furthermore, yes, I know Catholicism is worldwide, but the only people that are beholden to the Pope are Catholics. And only the Catholics that are beholden to the Pope. Okay, there are plenty of Catholics that don't adhere to the Pope. And in fact, there's actually a mass exodus from Catholicism from people that are beholden to the Vatican, especially because of the things that the Pope has come out and talked about. There's a lot of Catholic popes that are withdrawing their allegiance to the Pope because of that. So if the Pope were... I do know that the Pope is working hand in hand with like Islam and other sects of Christianity and stuff. If you've heard of a religion that's starting to arise called Chrislam, it's kind of amalgamation of Islam and Christianity and Catholicism and all the major faiths of the world in order to create a unified faith. And so, okay, if that is the case and if that gains traction, maybe the Pope is the beast. But at this point, I see other candidates that are more global in their authority. So, another candidate for the beast, somebody mentioned like King Charles. Okay, and that is true that the Great Britain and the UK, definitely the British Empire at one time, the statement was the sun never sets on the British Empire because it had global control. But there are plenty of countries that aren't beholden to Great Britain. So I'm looking for a candidate that has control over everyone in every country. That's what I'm looking for the beast candidate. So anyways, that's where I'm coming from. You're free to disagree with me, and maybe you're right. I mean, time will tell, okay? But I'm not going to sit and draw hard and fast conclusions on things that I don't see relevance for. Okay, so anyways, I probably just lost a South Korean listener after explaining all that, and I'm sorry, but I am just trying to be systematic with my conclusions and look at all the pieces. So anyways, if you disagree and your reasoning is compelling enough, you can bring it up in a comment and I'll address it. But I'm not going to get into little chatter battles on YouTube. So anyways, that's that. Okay, so in this video, I'm wanting to continue making a list of details from what we see in Revelation about the beast. Before we get into that, though, I found some more information on AI, artificial intelligence, that I think is interesting in terms of Revelation 9 and the internet and CERN and the possibility that this tormenting for 5 months could be the artificial intelligence that is on the internet that becomes so intelligent that it becomes hijacked by demonic forces. So right now, the artificial intelligence influences humanity, but this 5-month period could be the time when the demons actually come through artificial intelligence and turn that influence into a torment for 5 months. Okay, so I just want you to see something that I came across, and I was just like searching for stuff, but I came across this website for Nokia Bell Labs, and they are now, 5G is like the current networking system, and they're already talking about 6G. So what is 6G? 6G will not only build on existing technologies, it will radically transform what a network can do. We believe it will liberate human potential securely, inclusively, and sustainably. To me, this is a great example of a word salad where you had a question and the answer didn't tell you anything. Like, it's going to build on existing technologies. It's going to radically transform what a network can do. Yeah, I would assume 6G would be different from 5G, right? And then it says it will liberate human potential. What does that mean? Like, that doesn't mean anything concrete. That's very abstract. And then, I don't know, I'm always really critical whenever I see the word sustainable or sustainably, because I know that doesn't mean what you think it means. This, to me, I feel like is a very buzzword for globalism. And like, because sustainably, what does sustainably mean? You think it means where everyone can live in harmony and like we will have resources that won't be depleted. But if you look into it, I don't really think that's what that means. Anyways, what is 5G? So let's just watch this quick video. And if I weren't a Christian, I would find this video particularly terrifying. But let's just watch it. Because anyways, let's watch it. Okay, so I'm not a fan of anything I saw on this. Let's see if we can start it back. First of all, we have 2030. So 6G is going to apparently happen in 2030. We're going to come back to that 2030. We have here this honeycomb 6-sided hexagon. If you know anything about the occult, they are like obsessed with bees and honeycombs, and part of the reason is because of this 6-sided hexagon and the number 666. Moving on, we have the all-seeing eye, okay? Then moving on here, this is particularly strange. Digital twins. Why would you need a digital twin? I don't know. That's really weird. Like, listen, I'm enough of a handful. I don't need a digital twin, right? Okay. And then to play, to learn, to make sense of our world. We have a digital twin to help us make sense of our world. Like, isn't that why God gave us the Bible, to make sense of our world? But you're going to answer that question with a 6G network? That sounds weird to me. And then augmenting knowledge, purpose, okay? God gives us our purpose. I don't gain my purpose from a 6G network, I'm sorry. And then this picture is kind of weird. I mean, this is evidently the digital twin that we're talking about, of this lady standing there talking to the man. I don't really understand. That just seems really creepy to me. And then there's that word sustainably again. Liberating human potential. I find my freedom in Christ. Like, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. So I don't need my human potential liberated by a technology, okay? So anyways, just putting that out there. So I thought it would be interesting to look at where Nokia Bell Labs are located. And so you can see an awful lot of them in Europe, which Nokia, I mean, it's a Scandinavian company. Obviously, it's going to have a lot in Europe. There are none located in Geneva. Okay, so this Nokia is not necessarily connected to CERN, but what is connected to CERN is 6G, turns out. There's this particular scientist, Stefano Maroli. He is a scientist that works at CERN, and he has a blog. This is his website. And where is the article? Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is an article that he wrote. 6G, ready for the future? So again, see at the top, science at CERN. So CERN is working on 6G as well. I found this paragraph particularly interesting. 6G will be a sixth sense experience for humans and machines, a strong bridge which will finally bond together biology and artificial intelligence. Wait a second. You're going to bond together biology and AI? That makes me think too about this recent technology advance that came out in June of this year. Let's just watch this. If it'll play. You want to play? Let's see. Okay, for some reason this video isn't playing, but you can see the title of this article. Robots can now be built with living human-like skin. So basically this video is showing that scientists have created a robot that has living cells on it. It's covered in living skin and cells. So whenever this scientist in CERN is talking about bonding together biology and artificial intelligence, and he's telling you that this is going to happen through 6G, like, this just seems rife. This seems like a very easy way of tormenting man for 5 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these things together are pointing toward the possibility of that. And then coming back to 2030, this is the UN's website. Okay, so this is not a conspiracy theory, because you can go to the United Nations website to find out about Agenda 2030. And I want you to specifically see this word here, sustainable. They love that word. Anyways, if you read through this, it's like we're going to achieve utopia, basically. We're going to have no fear, violence, crime. Everything's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. It kind of makes me think about when Bernie Sanders was like, you know, that China has no, like, really poverty. They've eliminated poverty, and they've eliminated, you know, health issues and like massive health issues and stuff. And it's like, yeah, if you really look into it, the way that they eliminate those things is by eliminating the people. So the reason that there's no poor people is not because they've elevated people's standard of living, which they have to some extent, but they also just do away with people that are really poor. Okay, so there's that. Anyways, not to be a doomsday person, but I'm just wanting you to look at current events in line with stuff that's slated to happen in the near future, I believe. Okay, so anyways, there's that. So now let's continue our discussion about the beast. We're going to look specifically in Revelation 11 and 13 because I'm looking at all the references having to do with the beast. So verse Revelation 10 is about John receiving prophecy that he's not allowed to tell us. So Revelation 10 is literally like, there's more revelation, but I just can't tell you all of it because this angel told me to seal up those things that the thunders thundered. So the takeaway from Revelation 10 is, guys, there's more to this story, but I just can't tell you what it is. All right, so then Revelation 11, we learn this story about these two witnesses that God sends to prophesy and to do miracles for 1,203 score days. Okay, that's 1,260 days. It's also, another way to look at it is 40 and 2 months. Another way to say that is 3.5 years. So remember when we saw that verse that said time, times, and half a time, 3.5 years. 42 months is 3.5 years. 1,260 days is 3.5 years going by the Hebrew calendar that has a 360-day year versus the Roman calendar that has 365. So there's that little distinction. Anyways, these witnesses are going to do prophecies and they're going to be able to fight anyone who opposes them. But then after that 3.5 years, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. So let's go ahead and start making our list about distinctions about this first beast in 11 and 13. So first of all, we know he comes out of the bottomless pit, which is, well, we'll get there in a second, sorry. Comes out of the bottomless pit. He also fights and kills God's two witnesses. So that is another thing that a distinctive about the beast. Okay, so there's more to the beast than just 10 horns and 3 of them fall. Okay, the beast is going to make war against these two witnesses and overcome them and kill them, where nobody else was able to kill them. Okay, so anyways, then their dead bodies are going to lay there for 3.5 days, and then they're going to come back to life. So that's what the rest of this is about. There's more to it, but we're just looking at details about the beast, and that is in verse 7 of Revelation 11. All right, so now going to Revelation 12. This is a prophecy, or at least a picture, about this woman who faces this dragon. And most people believe that the woman is Israel, and obviously the dragon is Satan. But this chapter has nothing to do with the beast, so that's why I'm not going to look at it in detail. Now, let's come to Revelation 13, and this is where we're going to finish out the video on all of the distinctives and details that we find out about this beast in Revelation 13. Okay, so let's start in verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, so first of all, we see that he arises out of the sea. In Revelation 11, remember, we saw that he arises out of the bottomless pit. I think these are two different things, okay? The bottomless pit is the seat of Satan. This is what the angel opened in Revelation 9 and all the locusts came out of, okay? The bottomless pit is a spiritual stronghold of some kind, but this sea is different. And remember, because I've pointed this out before, this sea is the many waters of, where is it? The many waters. Yeah, okay. Said unto me, the many waters which thou sawest are peoples, multitudes, and nations. Okay, so when the Bible talks about the seas or the waters, it's talking about the sea of humanity. So I say that to say that not only does the beast come out of the bottomless pit, but he also comes out of the sea of humanity. So this beast is a person that is committed and controlled by the bottomless pit. He comes out of the bottomless pit, but he also comes out of the sea of humanity. Now, this is actually a hijacking and mockery of the Messiah, who we know Christ was fully God and fully man. there is a false doctrine out there about Jesus being some regular guy that God decided to indwell. So like at some point in Christ's life, you know, the Holy Spirit comes to him and says, will you please be my Messiah? And so as a man, this man says, oh yeah, okay, I'll submit to you and I'll become the Messiah. That is not true, okay? That is actually the way the beast is. The beast is a man that the dragon gets control of. But Jesus was not a man that God got control of. Jesus was fully God and fully man. If you go to Isaiah 49, you can see a whole prophecy about Jesus being like, before he was even in his mother's womb, there was a destiny for him. It wasn't after he was born that he was resigned to becoming Messiah. Okay? Do you see the difference? I hope you see the difference there. But I also wanted to point that out because that is bad theology to say that Jesus was just a guy that became Messiah. No, that is a mockery because that's the way the beast is. He comes out of the sea of humanity and he is controlled by the dragon. We'll see that later in another verse too. So you'll see where I'm getting that. All right. So another distinctive though in this verse is he comes out of the sea. He also has 7 heads that have blasphemy on them, a name of blasphemy, and 10 horns that have 10 crowns. Okay. So 7 heads with a blasphemous name, 10 horns with crowns. We know from Daniel 7 that those 10 horns are 10 kings, right? All right, so moving on to verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay, so there we see again, the dragon gave him his power. Okay, this guy comes out of the bottomless pit because the dragon gives him his power, but he is a man. Okay, and he gives him his seat, throne, and great authority. We've talked about Satan's throne in the last video, so watch that for that. But as far as distinctives, he is like a leopard. He has the mouth of a lion and feet of a bear. And the dragon gives him power, seat, and authority. All right, so we're adding to that list. Next thing, I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. The word wondered means marveled at. And everyone's like completely amazed by this. So what's going to happen is one of these heads, one of the 7 heads, it's going to seem like it dies. And the way this wording is as it were, as if it had been. So in other words, he's not really going to die. This again is going to be a mockery of the fact that the Lord Jesus Christ actually died and actually raised himself from the dead. Okay, Satan can never do anything as good as God can, so he does a mockery of it. So one of these heads seems to be wounded to death, and then it suddenly is healed, and he comes back to life, and everyone's amazed by it. All right. So let's add to our list. Sorry, let's add to our list with this information. So, sorry. Number 7 there, the dragon gave him power, seat, and authority. That's going to be said another time, so that's why I have 2 times there. All right, he has 1 head. It looks like it's dead and it's healed. That's going to be repeated another 2 times for a total of 3 times that it's said. And then the unsaved world is amazed and worships him because of it, and that is going to be said another time. All right, so, and that is going to be said another time in this verse. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him? Okay, so this is the other verse. This is the other time that we're told that people are worshiping the beast. All right, so there's nothing new in that verse. In this verse it says, and there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Okay, so this verse is interesting because of the verse up here, the being like a leopard, feet of a bear, and the mouth of a lion. Okay, and remember, I am looking at this in terms of Trump being the lion, Putin being the bear, and Xi Jinping being the leopard tiger. So let's look at that. Number 10 here, the mouth speaks. Oh, wait a second. That's not right yet. Oh, yeah. Okay, here it is. Okay, sorry. I'm not quite there yet. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll come back to that. Put a pin in that thought. We're not quite there. We're just talking about the mouth speaking blasphemies and power given to him to continue 40 and 2 months. So that is here. The mouth speaks pride and blasphemy, God, his name, tabernacle, heaven dwellers, and power for 42 months. Number 10, here's where I'm getting that. The blasphemy against God and the tabernacle and those who dwell in heaven. Okay, so he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. Okay, so the beast is going to blaspheme against God, also blaspheme God's name, also blaspheme his tabernacle. What is his tabernacle? Not just like a physical church. It is where God habitates on earth. Where does he habitate? He tabernacles with man in the hearts of men. When you are submitted to his will, he indwells you. Okay? So this beast is going to speak blasphemy against God, against God's name, and also against the people of God who allow God to habitate within him, and then also those who dwell in heaven. I think this could be like angels, but it could also be saints who have been dead and gone. So this beast may be speaking against saints of the past, but definitely angels in heaven and entities that God has created to worship him and things like that in heaven. All right, now here, this is where we're going to bring back the mouth and the feet and the dominion, okay? And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Okay, so he's going to make war with the saints. How is he making war with the saints? Well, we've already been told. He's going to blaspheme God's tabernacle. He's going to speak blasphemies, speaking great things and blasphemies. So remember that he's given the mouth of a lion. And when we think about Trump, we know that, let's look back at Daniel 7 really quick to show you when I remember. I need to refresh your memory probably on here. Okay. So remember, the lion, he has a heart, a man's heart. Okay. Remember when Trump speaks, he makes you either love him or hate him. He's a watershed. So when the beast speaks, he's also going to be a watershed. The saints are going to hate him, and the whole rest of the world is going to love him in that same way. Okay? Then the way Putin is told, arise, devour much flesh, the verse in Revelation says that he will overcome. Okay? And then the way that dominion is given to the leopard, we see in Revelation 13 that he is given power, authority over kindreds, tongues, and nations. So let me show you each one of these. He makes war with the saints with his mouth. He speaks blasphemies like a mouth of a lion. He overcomes them. He arises and devours much flesh with the feet of the bear. And then power, authority, dominion is given to him over kindreds, tongues, and nations like the leopard tiger. Okay? So that is where I'm getting this point right here. He makes war with the saints with his mouth, overcomes with his feet, authority, and he's given dominion. All right. So then verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Okay, and so we're already told that the unsaved world, number 9, is amazed and worships him. Okay, so that's the second time that we're seeing that stated. All right, so then moving on. Now, remember, I'm highlighting who I believe the little horn in Daniel 7, I'm highlighting that in pink, and I believe that is this in Revelation 13 when it says, I beheld another beast. I think that's the little horn from Daniel 7. So basically what's going to happen here is after the yellow beast, let's call him the yellow beast. After the yellow beast receives that seemingly mortal head wound and seems to die, there's going to be this little horn beast that arises, and he's going to be like a lamb but speak like a dragon, and he is going to have all the same power as the beast before him, and he's going to actually, whenever that second beast comes back to life, the first beast comes back to life. The second beast is going to cause everyone to worship him. So that's going to happen. And then the second beast is also going to do a lot of miracles, like make fire come down from heaven. Okay, and then he's going to deceive them with miracles, and this is the thing, is like people are going to be so deceived that people will actually think that this guy is the Messiah, and he won't be, okay? So that's why we need to be aware and paying attention so that we don't worship the wrong guy, okay? So again, we're told in verse 14 that the beast has that mortal head wound by a sword, but he lives from it. He comes back to life, seemingly raises to life, and we have that. We've already been told that, but I'm pointing it out that we're saying it again here. Yeah, number 8. He has one head like it's dead and it's healed. So that's the third time that we see that being said, is in that verse, okay? And then verse 15, the second beast has power to give life to that first beast. The second beast is actually going to create an image of the first beast that can speak and that can cause the whole world to worship it. And if you don't worship it, you're going to be killed. Okay, so there's a lot at stake here, guys. So we really need to be powering up in the spirit and make sure you're putting on that armor of God. All right, then verse 16, more about the second beast. He's going to cause everyone to receive a mark on their right hand and their foreheads. And so what you're going to do, what's going to happen is the second beast is going to make everybody receive a mark of the first beast. Okay? I know that's confusing, but that's how I'm delineating these things when I highlight them. That's how I see this. That verse 17, nobody's going to be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of that first beast and the number of his name. What is the number of his name? 666, which is 666 or 666. Okay, so looking at the first beast, what else have we learned? We've learned that the image of it is going to speak, and if you don't worship it, you'll be killed. And we've also learned that the mark of the beast is the number 666. So, I mean, you probably, if you don't know anything else about the beast or biblical revelation, you know about the mark of the beast. That's really famous. It's in a lot of movies. And the number 666, like the occult is obsessed with it. Hollywood's obsessed with it. So they always bring it up in things. So anyways, that was today's video. So these are all the things that we have learned furthermore about the beast, that he comes out of the bottomless pit. He fights and kills God's 2 witnesses. He also comes out of the sea of humanity. He has 7 heads with a blasphemous name. He has 10 horns with crowns. He's like a leopard with the mouth of a lion, feet of a bear. The dragon is giving him the power and authority. He has one of his heads that is wounded, like it's dead, and it comes back to life. The unsaved world is amazed and worships him. The mouth speaks pride and blasphemy against God, his name, tabernacle, and also heaven dwellers. He has power for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. He makes war with the saints with his mouth. He overcomes with the feet of the bear, and he's given authority over all the whole world, like the dominion of the leopard tiger. The image of this beast is going to speak, and non-worshipers will be killed, and the mark of the beast is 666. So those are all the things that we've learned from Revelation 11 and 13. Please come back for the next installment where we will talk about more details that we find in Revelation 14, 15, and 16. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day. Goodbye.